Welcome to Knockhill Racing Circuit for this, the first round of the Scottish Bike Racing Championship. In this week's programme we're concentrating on our quickest bikes, the Scottish Superbikes. We've also got some sidecar action for you coming up as well. Now the racing started yesterday. I'm going to hand it to Dennis and Duncan for a roundup of yesterday's action.
So here we go, guys, it's the Sidecars today and we're going to give you the highlights package. I'm Duncan Vincent and I'm joined again as ever in the commentary box by the lovely clean shaven Dennis Hobbs.
Yeah, good to be here again, Duncan, and obviously we've got a decent grid of sidecars here for this weekend's racing at Knockhill.
So the sidecars, we saw them, they tried a little bit last year, but there wasn't very many entries, so we've got a decent little grid. We've got Stephen Kershaw and David Wren on the front row there. Stevie Kershaw does a lot of racing in the British Championship, so we'll keep our eyes firmly fixed on him. He does a lot of racing alongside the likes of Scott Laurie. So yeah, a very quick man, and just nice of him to come back up here, represent the Scottish Sidecar Club and get in the mix of things. We've got F2 outfits out there as well. You can see the long F1 Bill Davy bike at the back there, and the short F2 one of Carl Pring, the little F2 600cc motorcycle engine, and the big F1s, well, they're up to 1000cc, Dennis, and they're kicking out, well, north of 200 brake horsepower, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. I'm just looking at these guys coming down towards the hairpin. We've got our own very Graham Whitehill on the back there. He's out passengering this weekend on the back of the 22 outfit of David Wren, so nice to see him back out there in a sidecar. But also I've got to say a big shout out to Bill Davy for getting his sidecar outfit fixed. He had to miss practice and qualifying, had a slight problem with a water pump issue, I believe, Duncan.
Yeah, there was an issue. It's an XD Webster engine, so there was an issue with the water pump. But also we've got Ralph Pride, our very own man on the back of Arthur Fulton on number 11 there. That's our colleague and ever smiling and handsome Ralph Pride. So you can see Arthur Fulton out on the rather ageing chassis that he's got now. So that bike is actually up for sale, Arthur's out on, but there's nothing wrong with the speed of the thing, as we can see up there. Only one left-hander at Knockhill, and it's quite tricky on a sidecar actually, unless you've got one of those LCRs, which Mr. Fulton is out on there with Ralph Pride there. Nice bit of weight over that chair wheel, lets the thing get through the left-hander. A little easier than the bikes that we're seeing on screen now. The number 15 bike there of Stuart Lithgow doesn't really particularly like the left-hander, but back at the front it was Kershaw and Wren all the way. They were the men on a bit of a mission. Steve Kershaw has been doing his stuff in the British Championship, and look at the speed of his LCR Suzuki as he just pulls out alongside Davy Wren. Davy Wren on a bike that Davy builds all by himself, so there's a lot of faith in your own engineering ability. If you can put together something you can go and race then.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of machinery involved in the sidecars. When you look at them, it is actually quite spectacular what they're doing. The wheel spin out of the hairpin there, and the 22 outfit of David Wren was quite spectacular. Yeah,
the Raywood R1. David runs a Yamaha engine. He's always been that little bit, I'm not going to say strange because he is a good friend, but he always has been that little bit different. He will have a Yamaha engine when everybody else is running about on Suzuki's. But Rob Wilson on the back of Stevie Kershaw. It was a good victory for these two guys, taking the first race win, and they did it ahead of David Wren, number 22. On the Raywood R1. Perfect weather conditions. It was a little bit chilly, but there were perfect weather conditions for keeping the temperature of the engine down, and that definitely would have helped Bill Davy with his water pump issue.
Yeah, that's for sure. But now we've got the Superbike and Clubman lineup on the grid, and this is going to be another exciting day of racing. A full action-packed grid again, Duncan.
Yeah, there was plenty of bikes. It's good to combine these two classes. The front row was Paton, Tasker, Burney and Brian Campbell on the front row on the 69 bike. The little 600 was on pole. David Paton's British Championship regular, and he kind of goes airborne as he got off the start line there. But the Double M racing bike, Mark Middleton was up here this weekend. He was watching Davy, but it was a fantastic start until they got to the first corner, and Martin Jewett decided to be a little bit keen there going in. He ended up taking a couple of boys with him, and you can see Martin on the floor there. He got hit hard by Andy Belby's BMW, lifts his visor up, but thankfully in that bit of a stramash there, fairly spectacular, everybody was okay.
Yeah, I think Martin was just a little bit annoyed at himself there. Got a sluggish start and trying to make it all up at the first corner, but good to see the guys perfectly okay.
So obviously there was a red flag, there was a restart, green flag again from Clark of the Course, Sandy Forest, and away we went. We're a couple of bikes light of having a full set, obviously with what happened at the first corner there, and there was running repairs happening in the paddock for the likes of Belby, who was running about trying to find throttle bits for BMWs and screens and all sorts, Dennis. So
yeah, that's right. I think it was held out by the guys from BMW Motorrad. They kindly had a demo bike up here and managed to rob a few bits off it.
So Paton led away from the start, and Burney tried to follow in hot pursuit, but a good big field of bikes there. And your man in the middle there with the orange vest, that's Jim Lang. Jim in his very first ever race meeting in the Clubman class, and he kind of come here and he's shaking a few guys up. He's on a ZX10 Kawasaki, but at the front it was Paton all the way from Burney. Andrew Tasker going round outside of Donald McFadden in the background, and really it would have been these three, or is these three, that were the class of the weekend on the Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. Andrew Tasker getting quicker and quicker all the time on the big bike, and manages to close the gap down towards Bruce Burney. And he got David Paton at the front, obviously fresh from doing British Supersport regularly, using this as a big test before the Superbikes come up here between the 22nd and the 24th of June.
Roy Houston and the Kirkcaldy Kawasaki was speaking to his dad Eric and his good friend John. They've been helping him for a couple of years now, and Roy really would be stuck without the help of John, so I know Roy's very in debt to John. But the 36 Kirkcaldy Kawasaki there, he's got Mark Newland right behind him. Mark, 18-hour drive to get to this meeting from Jersey. That deserves a medal or some championship points just for doing it, Dennis.
Yeah, for sure. You can't knock his determination to be out there racing, and looking pretty good out there, obviously right behind Roy Houston.
Yeah, back at the front, Burney was looking at getting past Deej on the big BMW, but the little R6 backs it into the hairpin there. And you're right, Davey has come fresh from his British Championship Supersport racing, and he's grown a bit of a beard until he gets a decent result in the British Supersport, Dennis. So we did have a bit of a joke. He might end up looking like ZZ Top, but we've got a lot of faith in Deej, and we think he will get some good results fairly quickly. Burney did, however, hit the front, and then the chase was on. Once the big bike got in front, it was very difficult for Paton to try and get past because he blocks him at all the corners.
Yeah, and that's Mark Newlands chasing down Norman Brunton there. Norman Brunton's bike stands out a treat. It does his own bike paint shop, and like I say, looking nice and smart there. And Roy Houston chasing him down. Is that Jim Lang right behind them as well? So Jim doing a fantastic job on his ZX10.
It was Jim Lang, and yeah, Roy Houston was struggling a little bit in this race. You can see he's been dropped by Norman Brunton and by Mark Newland. Mark Newland having a fine show on his big BMW on the Saturday edition of the race meeting. They're carrying a good bit of corner speed through the John O'Weir chicane. But it was back to the front. These two guys had stretched their legs away, and Tasker was kind of trailing them a little bit. Traffic was never really much of an issue because the guys got to him and kind of lifted him up straight away. I haven't said that, as I've just said that. Paton made a move at the chicane and absolutely done Burney there. I kind of put my foot in my mouth there.
Yeah, Bruce just backed off that little bit, and David saw an opportunity to go around the outside and made it stick. But Bruce, I'm not back up with the hairpin again. We're just not close enough. But the power of that BMW 1000 should just be enough once it gets to the up crest of the hill to start pulling away.
On to the last lap there. Thanks for chuckling at me. And you can see the BMW does get past Paton. It was actually checker flag. It was a late last lap checker flag, but the guys having a little shake of hands downhill there. They're obviously well chuffed with how the race had gone there, and it's not often you get a big bike and the little 600 racing so closely.
That's it. Back to the sidecars again for their second race of the day.
Yeah, it was never ending. It was action all the way. It was difficult for us to keep up with, but away went the sidecars down towards the first corner, and again it was the man of the moment. But we had an addition to it this time. We had Bill Davey in there with Stevie Kerr and Davey Rinn. Bill Davey, the number one bike, just behind the 22 Raywood R1 just out of shot. But Bill Davey had got the water pump issue. It sent Dirk Easton all the way back down to Markinch, which is a good half hour, 40-minute drive to him. They've got the water pump back into the bike, and you can see them they're actually also running the motor in at the race meeting, so that's the number one. The Windle chassis, a little bit different from what we see at the front here, as David and did have a shot at getting past Stevie Kershaw the hairpin. I don't think Kershaw knew he was there, did he?
He maybe did know he was there, but just close the door anyway, because that's what you do when you're racing there. You don't leave the door open, you get back to your apex. But the sidecars, like you say, they've got to make more of a lunge on the passes than what you do on the solo bikes.
Carl Pring, he was good for a laugh all day. He had one of these very novel helmets, shall we say. It looked a little bit like the Crazy Frog when he stuck it on his head. So good to see Carl Pring there on the number 73 bike, just going through the John O'Weir chicane. But Kershaw did manage to stretch his legs and get away at the front as they come up to pass and lap Kenny Andrews on the little F2 there. Stevie Kershaw, he does look a dead ringer for Hutchie. He looks a lot like Ian Hutchison, the TT and the Northwest TT kind of superstar chap. He sounds like him as well.
Just a little bit, but obviously more talented on a sidecar.
Whoa, there's a bit of a challenge for Hutchie. So sideways at the hairpin as they come up to lap. Ralph Pride and Arthur Fulton, the last lap flags are out, and it was going to be a good victory for Stevie Kershaw. 2 out of 2 so far, with some fans on the pit wall waving at him there as he comes up over the line. In second place it was Davey Rinn, and in third place in this one it was going to be Bill Davey coming home.
Yeah, another great sidecar out in there. Like I say, we're getting more and more sidecars, and hopefully the grid's going to get fuller and fuller throughout the year. We had the practice day on the Friday, and we lost a few of them, unfortunately, but like I say, more and more all the time, and back to the Superbike and Clubman again. Yeah,
so here we go, another full grid. The running repairs in the paddock had been kind of working for these guys, and as we made our way away from the start line underneath that Beatson's building supply bridge down towards St Curves, it was again Paton and Burney at the front, and Paton went round the outside of Burney there, and that was a cheeky move.
Yeah, he's obviously got confidence in the 600. He's riding it week in and week out. But looking back on the grid there, we've got Jim Lang and Derek Butcher, the two Clubman guys together. Obviously, Derek Butcher, our reigning champion from last season.
Yeah, on a big Ducati. Look at the backing it in from Deej as he gets the hairpin. Paton goes sideways. Tasker takes second place. So the Barber now with a little bit of work to do to get back to the front, but he winds the wick up on the BM. In fourth place, Brian Campbell. Fifth place was Houston. So big progress made for Roy Houston on the Kirkcaldy Kawasaki.
Yeah, he's obviously just getting used to the big bike. Obviously, he was out on the Superstock 600 last year, back on his ZX10 this year, and like I say, it takes a little bit of learning initially, but it seems to be doing okay. And I think Bruce is back to his usual tricks, missing his apex at the hairpin. He did that a few times last year. As we look back at Norman Brunton again. Yeah,
Norman Brunton sliding up the inside of mid-pack there. Mike Keith just a little bit off sorts in the second race of the day on the Saturday, but we'll see Mike Keith, we would hope, getting a little quicker as it goes on. There's Brett Nicol on the number 8 little R6 in the clubman class, struggling a little bit in the clubman class, and possibly would be better suited to being out in the actual Superstock class. But Brett Nicol there, a very, very nice bike. We like the way that bike stands out.
Yeah, we had a look around the paddock, and like I say, one of the best turnout bikes out there. You say the colours and that work beautifully on it. As we look back to the front, and it's Bruce Burney looking up the inside of David Paton at the hairpin.
So yeah, Burney did put the Carnegie Fuels BMW up the inside. He had got past the two young guns, and he now led the way. You can see him defending at the hairpin and getting all out of shape. Paton looks for the line through and carries a corner speed, but it's not to be, because he's never going to outdrag the big BM up towards the checker flag as it pulls in the last lap flag, and it was a win for Burney.
So your top 6 in the second Superbike race of the day was Bruce Burney from David Paton, Andrew Tasker, Brian Campbell, Roy Houston and Scott Shand.
And your top 3 in the clubman class was, the winner was James Lang, second place Derek Butcher, and third place was Big Donkey, Graham Duncan.
Welcome to another episode of Racing No Filter. Joining me in sunny California, Bill Wood, and down in sunny Florida, Peter King.
We're going to take a look at some of the products HPD has created for the 2012 Honda Civic, and specifically we're going to show you how to install an adjustable sway bar.
Until then, folks out there, you take care.
So here we were for the sidecars on the Sunday. Stevie Kershaw and Davy Rinn were the front row of the grid, with Bill Davey and Arthur Fulton on the second row of the grid. Unfortunately, we were missing Gordon Shand after an accident down at Oulton Park the day before, but there was still a good turnout of sidecars in lovely conditions at Knockhill. They came on the starter orders and away we go. Down towards first corner, Kershaw and Rinn, and we've got a great onboard camera shot for Stevie Kershaw today, looking right back in the face of Bill Davey, which is quite of a frightening thought actually. Davy Rinn does try and go up the inside there then, and through the left-hander at Leslie's, but well, it was all action straight away.
Yeah, that's right. David Rinn yesterday managed to get to the lead of the race, and then obviously it was Kershaw had to overcome him and get by, but Kershaw carrying loads of speed, and obviously the class act that was out there over the course of the weekend.
Yep, Stevie Kershaw coming up the back straight towards us just now with Davy Rinn tucked up behind him. We've got Suzuki power and we've got Yamaha power here. We've also got an LCR and we've got a Rinn, one of the bikes that Davy built all by himself. They call it the Raywood R1. So heading right towards the hairpin we come. Kershaw and Rinn in the distance. We might just get a glimpse of Bill Davy on the all-white Windle, but Stevie Kershaw and Rob Wilson all the way as well. Oh, Davy locks up going into the hairpin there. He went in pretty hot there, and he's managed to loop it into a circle, and off he goes onto the grass. Don't go for the sausage curb, Davy. Don't go for the sausage curb. What a brilliant wee replay for Stevie Kershaw.
It was almost like a nice big donut that he did down there, but gets it back on the track at the bottom of the hairpin and back underway right at the back of the field.
You still got a bit of that bacon roll in your throat there, Den, have you? We see Davy going up the main straight, bits of gravel coming at the back, but Arthur Fulton and Ralphie Pride have to go over all the Davy Rinn debris there. There's lots of it on the track there, and hopefully not going to puncture one of these big wide slick tyres. Now Arthur's got a bit of an issue with his bike here. It doesn't sound right at all, and up alongside him comes Carl Pring, and you don't often see a little 600 and an F1 sidecar side by side up the main straight, and Pring does Arthur on the brakes as they go towards full first corner set curves there, and through they go. That'll bring a smile to Carl Pring's face. You can see the pasture Bosnell really having to work through the left-hander there, but this battle's not finished because Arthur and Ralph at the hairpin trying to go round the long way on Carl Pring. Carl's never going to let that happen. He's going to show Arthur the edge of the track, and yeah, pretty close stuff here.
Yeah, like you say, it's not often you see an F2 actually overtake an F1 on a straight line. So, like you say, hopefully they'll get that 1,000 up and running properly for the next meeting. But like you say, they're out there, they're competing, they just want to finish the weekend off.
Yeah, look at them side by side through say curves and then through Leslie's at the bottom. The big bike should be that little bit quicker there, but you can see he's defending on the way towards Scotsman. So a good bit of racing knowledge from Carl Pring here. And here comes Stevie Kershaw. He's just about to join this battle. He's going to try and lap these two guys, and they're in an absolutely huge battle. He's got past Fulton as they're going towards Clark Corner, but Pring's defending from Kershaw because he thinks it's Arthur Fulton. He'll just hear the bike behind him.
Yeah, I'm just watching as he came through the chicane there, as he pulled it tight just after a big long black line from the rear tyre there. Actually looked pretty impressive.
That was a good look back over Rob Wilson's leg there, as we see Arthur Fulton going up the inside again. There's still debris in the track from where Davy Rinn managed to loop the R1 Raywood bike into the gravel trap, but Kershaw has been and gone, and yeah, you can see the camera on the side pod there off that R1 or LCR Suzuki, sorry, as this battle still raging on. This is the battle. This is a great battle for us to see.
Yeah, that's right. The F2 and the F1, these boys are right together. We could see the marshal there getting ready for the last lap flag, so we've still got a little bit of time to wait for the 29 outfit. Stephen Kershaw leading the way, but it is also Davy Rinn that's coming up through the field in this one. I'm not seeing a little bit of him as yet, but he's making big progress through the field after spinning and coming on at the very back.
Oh, Carl Pring's out over the curve into the gravel as they go through Clark Corner there, and Arthur Fulton again tries it on the brakes. He's going round the outside of Carl Pring. He's a little look over. Ralph looks down, and they've done it. Good move, but he runs a little bit wide mid-corner, and there's not a lot of room on the exit there. And Ralph was just saying to me, just want to enjoy this weekend and see how it goes, but I guarantee there'll be a huge smile under the helmet of that Saltair helmet as they come up over the straight. But here's the man, Steve Kershaw and Rob Wilson on the number 29 LCR Suzuki, squares off the hairpin and accelerates up towards what will be another fine victory. Steve Kershaw wins the sidecar race, the third race, but here's the battle. Bill Davies right in the middle of this as well. Now Bill Davies has to try and go up the inside. He gets past Carl Pring. Fulton tries to go to the outside of Pring, and it's all just a little bit tight there. But Arthur and Carl come together. They're through the gravel on the exit, and a little shake of the head for Arthur. He's not happy because I think he saw a good result there, Den.
That was actually quite impressive. He managed to get that back under control because he swerved in that gravel pretty fast, and that was the end of it for him.
So Kershaw and Wilson win from Davy and Huskisson. Rinn and Whitehall are third with Pring and Bosnell. So here we go then, we're back out with the Superbike class, and there's Andrew Tasker 179, and Brian Campbell rolls his Honda Fireblade into position alongside him. Green flag at the back, another big race, big grid of bikes here, and they're under starters orders. They hold them for quite a long time. The red lights quickly flash out, and away we go. We're racing, and it's Paton again. Paton gets a fantastic launch on that little double M racing R6 Yamaha. Donald McFadden straight up into third place as Burnley tips over into second place as they go through St Curves and plunge down through Les's. Cracking start by Deeds there.
Yeah, also a brilliant start from Donald McFadden there from the second row of the grid, so managed to slap himself into third place, and Andrew Tasker's looking for a way past already, and right behind him we've got Brian Campbell, then we've got Mike Keefe and Roy Hewson right up there as well, and the first clubman is just behind the Norman Brunton race bike. I think that's Derek Butcher that's got off to a decent start there once again. Yeah,
the guy's coming through Clark Corner for this time of asking and head towards the hairpin round a big corner on the bike there. That left-hander is quite easy in a car, but it's a big corner on the bike as Tasker gets a little bit of air underneath the wheel, and he's now up into third place on that big ZX10. New boots this year for Andy. Lovely little flashy Tony Elias numbers there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, obviously Bruce Birdie 79, Andrew Tasker 179. We need to ask him the question, if Andrew Tasker beats Bruce in the championship, is he going to go for 79 next year?
Well, that's something we'll have to try and find out. Yeah, there goes Burnley through the top of St Curves, and he's in hot pursuit of the hot man just now. Not meaning it that way. Davy Payne is the man on form when we come to Knockhill. He's going his beard, but we've got a rider down at first corner. That's a huge off there, and who is that? Let's hope he's okay, because he's gone down at St Curves, and that's a big off there. Then did you catch who that was?
I wasn't quite sure that was the header, but it was pretty fast as I went into the top of the first corner.
That could have been number 18 Lee Longstaff on an R1 Yamaha. We'll get to that in just a minute. But yeah, Lee going down very heavy, and out come the red flags there. You can see him bouncing down, and that bike just absolutely disintegrates. Fuel spraying out. It is number 18 Lee Longstaff, and thankfully Lee gets away from that rather second-hand R1.
Yeah, that's right, but hopefully, like you say, you can always bend metal.
Yeah, Den, you know all about that. You're pinned into you, don't you? So back on pole position for David Paton. Alongside him we've got Andrew Tasker. There he is. Bruce Burnley looks a little bit battle weary already, and Brian Campbell, cool as you like, riding the big Honda on the far side of the front row. We're under starters orders. Red flag is at the front. So nobody likes to restart a race, Dennis. You get in your rhythm of things, and then this happens, and it's back to square one, isn't it?
Yeah, you just got to keep your concentration, keep calm, and like I say, if you made a good start first time round, you just make sure you're going to try and do it again. As we see David Paton straight away off the line, and Donald McFadden, I think, replicating his start, just coming on the outside of the screen there, back into third place once more, right down the outside of Andrew Tasker.
Yeah, great view from Tasker there as Roy Houston tries to go around the outside of Mike Keith as they go through Sidecars and Leslie, but it wasn't to be. And Derek Butcher again, the first of the clubmans, as they go in through Scotsman Corner. But Tasker again has got Donald McFadden right in front of him, and Donald making some cracking starts on that BMW, getting himself from the second row and completely launching past everybody.
Yeah, this will be good practice for Donald. He's going to be coming from here and going straight to the Northwest 200, so we wish Donald all the best as he goes towards the Northwest. But excellent starts off the line as Andrew Tasker on board there. You see his screen flashing, change gear, get the power open. He's going to try and do him on the brakes into the hairpin. Yeah,
Donald's pretty strong on the brakes, but Andy comes in pretty late, gets it on the inside and gets that big Kawasaki stopped, and it sounds absolutely fantastic, that bike. You can hear it howling round the Hislops towards the hairpin there. There's a pit board, that's Andy Tasker's dad wearing the official Tasker team shirt there as we go through Leslie's and hit the brakes for Scotsman. You can see Paton still leading, hanging off the side of that little R6 Yamaha, and there's Bernie. You never thought Bernie would disappear in somebody's view there, but hiding behind the big red number of Tasker.
Yeah, and obviously just watching these guys behind a proper Supersport bike, you know, a bike that's putting out plenty of horsepower. The only advantage of the big bike is once they get towards the top end of the rev range, initially out the corner, the 600 punches well above its weight and pulls away. It's only once they get up to the rev range, lights him now with Andrew Tasker down to the hairpin.
Yeah, but then Deej keeps it wide open for just that fraction of a second longer and then backs it in front of him, and that looks absolutely classy. But Tasker through to a good second position there. Yeah, you're right though, Paton weighs next to nothing, Dennis. He weighs probably about the same weight as your wallet and my forearm here. He doesn't weigh much at all, and he really does get the power down. Well, who's that? Down at the hairpin, number 45. We've lost. Oh, it's your mate, Bill Bryson.
Yeah, unfortunate for Bill Bryson. I think it's his first meeting as well. We were talking to him out on a track day in Spain, and it's good to see him out here and really enjoying himself. Big smile on his face, and a gentleman to have around the paddock.
Yeah, and he makes his own rear sets and hangers and things like that, so pop along and see Bill in the paddock. But we're right in the middle of what looks like a clubman melee just now as they're coming through Butchers. That's Alan Bryce, number 47, kind of leading the way with that, and they're all in there, and they're going to have to watch because these quick guys at the Superbikes are going to be catching them soon. And Tasker has got Bernie issues all over him up the main straight. Bernie's passed as they hit the brakes for first corner there, and these are cracking onboard images we're getting from Andy Tasker here through the top of Sidecars and Leslie's.
Yeah, that's right. It shows you how much speed they carry into the top of Sidecar there. It's quite impressive, and through Scotsman, and it's a full flowing part of the circuit, and these guys doing well. And we're just looking back down through the field there. Duncan, I think you're just doing a number check.
Yeah, is that Alan Bailey there, 65? Right in the middle of that should be Derek Butcher. There's your old bike just flashing out a screen. That was Richard Hughes, and we've not seen Richard for a little while, have we?
Yeah, Richard had a big crash here last year, and it's great to see him back out. Big smile on his face, and like I say, he's back together and just going to slowly progress and improve all the time as the race leaders come down towards the hairpin once more, and it's going to be David Paton slowly in the way from Bruce Burney.
Yeah, Burney was having a bit of a wriggle on coming through Hislops here. You see the big BMW again squinting and kind of shaking, and Paton was in the wrong gear, he's left the hairpin there. Davy Paton in the wrong gear, he's left the hairpin there, and past him goes Burney. Tasker's just dropped off the back, so this is going to have to be an absolutely heroic lap for Paton, because Burney will be giggling all the way towards Sidecars there.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, David just missed a gear. I think obviously coming out of the hairpin, and that just gave Bruce the advantage and drove straight past him. But we've got slow riders ahead, so we've got to see where these guys play into it, because they're coming up through the John Harway chicane now, heading up towards Clark's, and I'm sure that's where they're going to hit these guys.
Was Paton too sideways on the way into the hairpin, and he just made a mess of the down change, but he's still on the pipe, as they say, as they're coming towards Clark's. It is Burney from Paton, and it's all going to come down to the hairpin. They've got 4 clubmen in front of them, so what is going to happen here as we head towards the hairpin? I don't think the back markers are going to come into play, but I'm going to retract that statement straight away, because they're right on top of them at the hairpin now. Burney's on the inside, he doesn't know where to go. Paton's on the outside. Where's Paton going to go? Burney gets a little bit caught back to the inside, but it's going to be Burney when Paton pulls a big wheelie as they head up towards the finish line. Burney wins on the road from Paton, and Tasker comes home in a fine 3rd position, albeit just a little bit off the back, and nice waving for the guys. They're good friends as well.
Yeah, good racing between both Bruce Burney and David Paton, and Andrew Tasker was in there for most of that race.
Yeah, giving us some cracking onboard footage from Andrew Tasker on the number 179 ZX10. So good to see. There's your race winner though, number 179, number 79 on the Carnegie Fields BMW. That's Bruce Burney. Paton actually gets the race win though, because there was a little overtaking infringement there, as we've just had to come up on the bottom of our screen. Burney gets a 10-second penalty, Dennis.
Yeah, Bruce isn't going to be happy about that one, is he?
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So here we go, guys. We're back on with the Knockhill Motorsports Club and the Sidecars. The Sidecar Club have come along and have brought a good bunch of outfits. Unfortunately, we did lose a few through qualifying and testing, but it is Stevie Kershaw away from the likes. And Bill Davey gets a better start this time on a number 1 bike. Reigning champion Bill Davey. Can he have the power of Kershaw as we look over Rob Wilson's feet there at Davey Rinn? And no, it's Kershaw who leads through the first corner. Bill Davey just gets done by Davey Rinn at the apex of St. Curves there, and Davey Rinn gets past him with Graham Whitehill in the chair. Good move by Davey.
Yeah, you can actually just see, looking back, how much Rob Wilson, the passenger on the outfit, actually works. He was hanging right off the side of the outfit as it came through Leslie's on the left hand, then switching his body weight right the way across as I went towards Scotsman. But the 22 outfit of David Rinn and Graham Whitehill, who made a massive mistake in the race previous, obviously got a little bit of work to do, and they're already into second place. Yeah,
and watch out, we've got Arthur Fulton and Carl Pring on track, pretty close together, so that can only mean one thing. We're going to have plenty of action. Let's hope we don't have any contact this time at the hairpin. And speaking of the hairpin, here we are. There's your man, number 1, reigning champion Bill Davey, with Mike Huskisson on the side of that bike. Good to see them here, because there was a little bit of obviously funding issue there, but they've got the bike from Davy Annan. So Davy Annan's old bike there, and up the main street. That thing's got a fair bit of speed about it. Are they going to be brave enough to go past Davy Rinn on the brakes? I wouldn't have thought so, because Davy Rinn is incredibly brave on the brakes.
Yeah, as we flick back to Carl Pring on the F2 outfit, and then we're on board again with Stephen Kershaw up over the start-finish there. Yeah, fantastic little camera shot we've got there.
So in towards first corner. Sorry, Dennis, can elbowed you off the microphone there. There's your man, Stevie Kershaw, number 29, British Championship runner, with Rob Wilson kneeling on the back as they go through the left-hander there. I'll tell you what, Davey Rinn and Graham Whitehill aren't backing off this time. They're staying with them, and both come through Scotsman in a lovely 3-wheel drift there.
Yeah, you can see it sliding, and like I say, even when they come through Clark's, that's pretty impressive. Like I say, 3-wheel drift all the way through the corner, and for the spectators it's something else when they're actually at the circuit watching it live.
And Bill Davey's not far off the back of this one as well, so let's see, can Bill try and get a bit of speed and catch up to the back of Davey Rinn, as Arthur Fulton and Ralph Pride. Ralph looks like he's on a Sunday jaunt down there, doesn't he? He looks like he's just having an enjoyable time. Colin Riddle, get a little bit of Colin Riddle time now as they go through the hang on, Bill Davey stopped at the bottom of St. Curves. Bill Davey stopped at Leslie's, and out come the red flags. So there you go. Wonder what was wrong with that window.
Yeah, I'm sure we just saw like a little bit of steam as they came back up from our commentary position there, Duncan, and so it could have just been a little bit of a water issue.
So well, that's the result anyway. We've got Kershaw, Wilson, Rinn and Whitehill, and Davy Huskisson does get classified in 3rd position. Colin Riddle gets 4th, with the first time we've seen Colin out there.
You get the most airtime of everyone, but it's because you provide us with the most action, and you certainly did that in race 1. You won overall. You came into the pit lane and you got waved away.
Correct, gutted. Seemingly I passed on a yellow flag on the exit of the hairpin.
Before you reached the green.
Correct. I did believe that David had missed a gear and Andrew Tasker was sitting behind him. I had to drive, you'll see it yourself, and I just thought it was a move that was fine. If I did realise that, I would have waved him by, but it is what it is. 10 seconds, 5th. Not good for the Scottish Championship, but it's got a bit more hungry in my belly now to move on.
Well, that was fairly interesting there, Joe. I must say thank you very much for that. So we were right, it flashed up on our timing screen. Dennis Burney did get done for the yellow flags.
Yeah, and he obviously says he's fired his belly up now. He wants to go out there and prove a point and get back to the front. And that's
it's Bill Bryson.
Yeah.
Where's he gone?
I'm not sure what's happened there, but unusual to see a bike there in the middle of the tri-oval.
Yes, very unusual place to be. So the guys are waiting on the start line again. It's still that front row, but Donald McFadden is the man in the front row instead of Bruce Burney. So Donald had a great start from the second row. Can he lead this in towards St. Curves? They're well revving the bikes, and look at Paton just creeping forward a little bit. Away they go again, though. It's the R6 Yamaha gets a flyer off a start. Then you wouldn't expect that. Tasker's just getting engulfed, and look at that, Burney's 2nd place into St. Curves from the second row of the grid. It must be something to do with that second row, because Donald McFadden was making some cracking starts as well, and he's right on the pale, and he has got the fire in his belly, Dennis.
Yeah, definitely that's the best start we've seen Bruce Burney making a fair while. And just looking back, it's the Clubman class again. It's Derek Butcher that's leading away from Jim Lang, but Jim Langlet's been winning the Clubman races so far today.
Yeah, so in towards Clark Corner they come. It's the 3 of them at the front. The trio are away and heading towards him, and Brian Campbell already just slipping off the back, and he's got Donald McFadden all over the back of him, and then Roy Houston in a Kawasaki that looks a little bit out of shape at the back, but Burney's going up this side. Payton's looking like Rossi into the hairpin, and he'll like that quote, but he comes across the front of Bruce Burney, and that was pretty full on there, Den.
Yeah, I thought Bruce was just going to push him a little bit wide there, but give David plenty of space on the exit, and it's actually level as it come up over the start finish straight back into Sidecar. So it is now Bruce Burney leading the way from David Paton in second place.
Yeah, Davy's letting it all hang out here on that yellow R6 Yamaha, and can he get Burney in towards Scotsman corner? No, he can't, but Tasker's all over the back. You see the big ZX10 rolling into the corner pretty quickly. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, but as you watch the guys on the throttle there's no difference between the 600 and the 1000 in that particular section of the circuit. You can see that the guys were very equally spread. So as Andrew Tasker's now getting closer to David Paton.
Tasker tried to go around the outside of him on the way in towards Clark Corner. That's a brave move, and this is where the big bike really gets wound up at the end of the straight. He's got a nice good drive on it. 6th gear you can see in the dash there in towards the hairpin. And can he block Paton? Yes he can. Paton will not be a happy bunny about this, getting forced out wide by the two big bikes, and once they're in front of him it's very difficult for him to get past then, because they just kind of park at mid corner where he can carry the corner speed. But look at the speed of that little 600. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, like I say, he only loses out just the last fraction of a little bit over the start finish straight as we watch number 63 running wide there. That's Kenny Patterson on the Car Masters of Glasgow Ducati.
Nice, Kenny. Good guy, Kenny. So away up he goes on that Ducati. Quite a few Ducatis in the race as well now. And Burney now starting to stretch his legs at the front of the field. He's been a quick man all day, but Andrew Tasker is currently having a little bit of a moment out of the John Away chicane there, Dennis. That made you sit up.
Yeah, also just got on the power nice and hard there, and he just started to slide around, and you can see it's actually bucking and waving a little bit, so he's definitely trying his hardest out there.
Big donkey. Graham, where are you going? The track's 100 yards to your right just now, pal.
It's a good job he's kept it upright this time though, Duncan. We saw him on its side quite a few times last year, so Graham Duncan, keep it upright, good man, just get on nice and smooth.
Yeah, new leathers for Dunky this year. That's X-Forbes Cowan BMW, so thankfully Graham gets back on his way there and gets the kind of mud off the tyres, and away he goes. Number 89 just flashing through the picture there. That's Andy Hunter, and Andy was a quick man last year again, just ahead of Kenny Patterson on the Car Masters of Glasgow Ducati, and that Ducati is absolutely pucker. If you get a chance, get in the paddock and see it. But Burney's already at State Curves, and he picks the thing up and goes through Leslie's and Tasker. Well, they've dropped Deej off the back of this now. Paton just maybe running into a little bit of tyre issues. He's trying to do the whole meeting on one new tyre, so it's quite an ask then at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that was the plan at the start of the weekend, and whether they've had new tyres since then I'm not too sure, but David Paton, I'm sure he's still trying to find that little bit of time. He needs to find half a second, 8/10 of a second, so he's on British Supersport pace, ready for the Superbikes coming here on the 24th of June.
Derek Butcher and Jim Lang, but not in that order. It's Jim Lang on the orange vest ahead of the boss just now. Derek on his Ducati, and it's a high powered Ducati. That is telling me it's got around about 170 at the back wheel, so second gear out the hairpin for Tasker, and you can see just how quickly this thing accelerates and goes up through the gears. There we go, we're into third already, and it's pouring the front wheel as he comes up over the crest of the hill, and there can't be many laps left in this race now. We're getting a wriggle on now, Trig.
Yeah, obviously Andrew Tasker has got a point to prove as well as Bruce Burney, and we've got a rider down there, Duncan.
Well, difficult to get a visual on that one. It's an R1, I can tell you that, but who is the R1? It's definitely not going to be Lee Longstaff, because he absolutely obliterated his one earlier on, but we'll try and get a visual on that then. Can't actually see there, but the guys are coming through John Away chicane just now, and there's a bike ahead of them, but they're not going to come into contact with that. It's Hunter and Patterson having a good bit of a battle here. Good ding dong in the clubman class. Is that big donkey just ahead of them? No, that could be Victor Corriere perhaps on another Ducati, or is that Alan Howitson? Alan Howitson on the number 32 bike, I think it is. You see that? The commentator's eye there.
You saw the numbers and then checked the programme number.
Thank you, Dennis. Thanks for that, Dennis. Yeah.
It's good to see these guys having a battle all together as the Superbike's up over the start finish straight. It is again Burney from Tasker, and David Paton's right in the mix there still, and like I say, I'm sure that was the last lap flag we saw there as well. Again down 2 gears as they're coming towards State Curves there for Tasker. 6 down to 4th, then drive it hard through Leslie's on the side of the tyre, back down another gear for Scotsman corner on these big bikes, and then hold it in 3rd gear possibly out here. Is he going to grab 4th? He does. No, he doesn't. Hard to see with the screen there. 3rd gear up towards the chicane, and he'll come through here and he'll be hard in the power. Is it sticking? It is. It's not wriggling about now, and he's right up the back of Bruce Burney in towards Clark Corner. He'll get a good drive out here then, and watch that thing wriggle again as he gets in the power at the exit of the corner. And have we lost somebody out now? Who's that? That's Mark Newland. Look at the debris on the track. Mark Newland has absolutely destroyed his BMW at Butcher's corner there, and Mark was moving at least he was moving as up come the leaders. It's Burney who leads over the line from Tasker and Paton. So if anything happens with the flags now, that would be a result, because we go back, Burney would lead over the line. So is Mark Newland up and on his feet? Have the marshals managed to move that debris? And so we see Roy Houston there with a rearward facing camera on the back of the ZX10 then. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we get some shots from that, but it's hard to say how well you can actually see the big black line there as they're going towards Butchers that Mark Newland's left there.
And the marshals are still working on Mark at the side of the track. There's Scottish Hand, get a bit of a visual on Scottish Hand number 22, but out come the red flags. We feared that was always going to happen because Butchers, Dennis, if you go down there, that's a fast off.
Yeah, so a big crash, but the run order in that one was Bruce Burney from Andrew Tasker, David Paton, Donald McFadden in 4th, Brian Campbell 5th, and Mike 6th round out your top 6.
Mid-pack Mike.
Welcome to another episode of Racing No Filter. Joining me in sunny California, Bill Wood, and down in sunny Florida, Peter King.
We're going to take a look at some of the products HPD has created for the 2012 Honda Civic, and specifically we're going to show you how to install an adjustable sway bar.
Until then, folks out there, you take care.
Sidecars are lined up behind me on the grid. It's great to see them back here racing, and it's great to see a lot of them here. I want to speak to our pole position man, or in fact our pole position man. I'll come to you in a minute, Davey. Pole position man, I'm getting mixed up between the two blue bikes. Kershaw, dominant weekend so far.
Yeah, it's been good. The bike's handling great, and I'm feeling good on the bike and enjoying myself.
Do you want a little bit of pressure from the guys behind you? Are you happy enough out there by yourself? I'm taking it that this is a little bit of a rehearsal for the BSB round coming up.
Yeah, that's right, but a bit of pressure from behind's always good because you need that. Can't get too comfortable.
Good stuff, good luck. Let's hope those lap times drop.
Yeah, we'll see how we get on.
Good stuff. Second on the grid, Davey Rinn. I want to speak to Davey if I can, because Davey seems to be the only man this weekend that can put any pressure on the dominant force, the Kershaw there, the bike on pole position. In qualifying, it was only 4/10 in it. You were on pole position for most of the session. You had a wee spin earlier on, that kind of ruined that one. Can we do anything to stay with him?
Just keep trying harder. We'll see when the flag comes out.
So, for this final sidecar race of the day, thank you very much, Joe Tanner, with Steve Kershaw and the ever-present Davey Rinn there. Kershaw and Rinn are the front row of the grid from Davey and Riddle on row 2. Fulton and Pride, but keep your eye on the Pring and Bosnell bike as well, because those guys have been locked in a pretty heroic battle all the way through all these races today, Dennis.
Yeah, that's right, and it's great to see so many sidecars here again, like I say.
Down towards St Curves, and Davey Rinn got a cracking start that time, but has he got the power as we look back on board from Stevie Kershaw's bike here? No, he doesn't have the out and out grunt as they go through St Curves, and then look at the passenger, Rob Wilson, moving through Leslie's there. These are absolutely fantastic shots, just shows you just exactly how much work a passenger has to do. And as a great man once said then, the difference between a good passenger and a bad passenger is a good passenger will win your races, and a bad passenger
won't.
Well done, Dennis, well done. You're learning on these sidecar things, aren't you? But up towards Clark Corner comes Stevie Kershaw. Yep, he will be racing here at the BSB round, and we're looking forward to seeing him here. You get along and you support our local man Stevie Kershaw, and also Scott Laurie, who's not here. Scott is preparing for his TT debut in a couple of weeks' time after the Northwest, so it'll be good to see how those guys get on there. But in towards the hairpin, Davey Rinn's not letting him away here, is he? And Stevie Kershaw very sideways in the way in there, Dennis.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times over the course of the weekend. Quite a lot of movement on the rear of the sidecar outfits as they come in towards the hairpin. Really heavy on the brakes, and these guys, like I said, trying the hardest.
Oh no, it's Pride and Fulton again up the inside of Gerald Pring, and this has got paintwork written all over it, hasn't it? Panel damage.
It actually looks like there's some damage to the outfit of Carl Pring there as well. Just on the far right hand side there, Duncan, like something's a little bit loose, but as they come up over the start finish straight, again that F2 outfit passes the F1.
Yeah, Arthur Fulton has a bit of a fueling issue, but he's going to be trying to be brave on the brakes here, but not that brave, because Carl Pring, and watch Carl Pring's pasture. Bosnell really having to work. You can see the chair wheel just skimming over that curb. That is absolutely perfect. He makes that look pretty easy there, and Arthur Fulton will have demon red eyes behind that dark visor on that area and that number 11 bike as they come up towards the John Away chicane. Arthur definitely looks a little bit quicker. You're not going to pass him there, Arthur, for goodness sakes. Ralph Pride hanging over the back to try and get the traction up the back straight. They're both defending or having an attacking moment in the Clark.
Yeah, I think obviously Carl there knows that maybe initially he might not have the same kind of speed as the F1 outfit, but he's putting his car in a place where Arthur's not able to get through, and once you get down towards the hairpin on the brakes again, he might be able to have a look, but back over the start finish there, the F2 outfit is running beautiful as we look back at the race leader there.
Oh no, here we go again. Arthur Fulton tries to go round the outside of Carl Pring. and there's a big sideways moment, and he almost spins across the front of him, and he'll be chuckling. Ralph will be chuckling in the back of that. He likes a good spinny moment at the hairpin. He's done plenty enough, and he used to be a driver himself. As Arthur heads for the pit wall here, I wonder what the idea in that is.
I think you just look down and lost direction.
Everybody running for cover as number 29, Steve Kershaw, is the man leading the way as he goes on to another lap, and he's now got this battle in front of him. They must cringe every time they come up upon 73 and 11.
Yeah, I think this time it looks like he's going to get nice and clean as they go through railway down towards the hairpin, and Stephen Kershaw on the Blink Bonnie Quaddy sponsored outfit.
Oh, nice one, Dan. Look at the onboard shots we're getting. Look at the speed of that. Oh, and who's that? That's Kenny Andrews. Kenny Andrews goes a little bit of agricultural through the John O'Weir chicane, and thankfully gets the Sidecar back on the track in one piece and just ahead of Stevie Kershaw. So poor Stephen Kershaw's getting all sorts of things happening to him today. He's now got Colin Riddle he needs to pull out and pass, and again, look at the shots there. This classic, you see the pasture tucked in, you can see how much the leathers are flapping about. So the forces that go through a pasture's body and what they have to do then is absolutely, it's mental. It's huge forces, and we're going to have you in the back of one of these soon. Yeah, and obviously some of the guys, not I'll race lead there, but you see some of the guys have sliders rather than have them on the knee. They have them on the bums, because that's what's actually on the floor as well as they go through the corner. Yeah, Graham Hale was a good one for having his bum out and bum on the floor. And that's on a night out as well. So here we come, it's these two battling again up towards the John O'Weir chicane. Carl Pring and Arthur Fulton. I just hope these guys can bring it home in one piece, because Stevie Kershaw goes past Kenny Andrews on the entrance to the John O'Weir chicane, and he's really looking like he's on the money now. Last lap flags are out, so there's not long to go. 54.2 is the fastest lap for Stevie Kershaw, so he's doing some good consistent laps, but he knows he can, and he knows he will have to go quicker than that when the BSB guys are up here in mid-June then.
Yeah, that's right. Like I say, it's perfect practice. He'll know the circuit. He'll be able to go out first practice, and he'll be even quicker again. So it'd be great to see him out at the Superbikes on the 24th of June. Like I say, looking forward to that and seeing all these guys there.
Bit of showboating out the hairpin for Stevie Kershaw, and Rob Wilson up to the checker flag. It's been 5 out of 5 for Steve Kershaw. It's been a very worthwhile weekend coming here, and he'll be a well chuffed man when that. David Ing gets second place. Bill Davey will come home in third place. Then Colin Riddle was fourth, and it's Pring and Fulton all the way to the flag. They've been with us all day, and they're getting a lot of cheers from the pit lane there. Happy guys, and a good show, good display from the Sidecar Racing Club. It's good to see them here. We just need a few more bikes on that grid then.
Yeah, like I say, we had a few more come practice, but a few of them expired, but hopefully see more at the next meeting.
So Steve Kershaw wins 5 out of 5, 104 points from him, from Davey Rinn, from Bill Davey and Arthur Fulton. We're cracking sidecar racing, and they're doing themselves a good favour being out there.
Now we've also got the clubman class mixed in amongst these guys. Watch your feet, there's cables everywhere. I want to speak to a couple of the clubman guys, which are actually row 3. We've got the second man on the grid on this lovely looking Ducati. Is a man that you'll recognise, is Derek Butcher. Derek, 5th race of the weekend. It's a lot of racing laps.
Yeah, it's been really good fun. Great, it's been dry, so lucky. When you look at what's going on in the UK just now, it's great that Scotland's getting a dry spell.
We've had a bit of an issue with the temperature, I think. A lot of accidents and action and whatnot over the last 2 days, and we think it's down to the track temperature. Have you found it particularly slippery?
I personally haven't, no, but it's certainly an issue. It's certainly an issue. It's on everybody's mind. But I think the boys who are really going for it, and they're just trying to get everything out of every corner, will be feeling it.
So thanks for that, Joe. We are on to the final race of the day. So we've heard from Derek Butcher there as the bikes all leave the holding area. Derek's got his work out, though. He's got to try and catch the man, Jim Lang, in the clubman class on that black ZX10.
Yeah, Jim Lang's been in dominant form, won all 4 races so far in the clubman, but Derek's trying his hardest to beat him as they line up on the grid once more. We're looking back at Bruce Burney on pole position from Andrew Tasker. David Paton missing, Donald McFadden round out the front row there.
Yeah, quite a few guys deciding not to do the last race of the day. 5 races in the weekend, just been a little bit too much for them, but we're under starters orders. We're waiting on the red lights on the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge, and away they go. It's a quick start, and it looks like Donald McFadden poured the wheel that time, so it's not going to be the best start for Donald McFadden as they all head down towards first corner, St. Curves, and finally Roy Houston comes siding through the back there, if anything a little bit too quick into first corner, St. Curves, and that made me and you both jump in a big way going through Les's there, Den.
Yeah, that was so close to a big accident as I went through Les's, but I think clubman wise as well, Derek Butcher there up into 6th place, so fantastic start from Derek Butcher leading the clubman battle, and then right behind him we've got Norman Brunton and Jim Lang on the rear wheel of Norman Brunton, the man that's been in dominant force in the clubman class so far this weekend.
Good spot then, Scott Shan with a bit of a wayward start there. He's coming back through the clubman. Oh, he's a little bit of a rear end moment coming over the top of class. Oh, Tasker's in trouble. That looks like the rear set's hanging off Dennis, or that looks like it's held on by just a gear rod. That's a bit of a disaster for Andrew Tasker.
Yeah, he's going to have to get onto his mechanic with that one, but obviously pulling off there, and he should hopefully get that bike back down towards the pit lane nice and safe so we can keep the racing running.
Yeah, see, that's a trained. I'm quite impressed. You're teaching me well then. That's just a gear rod holding that rear set on there. But back up, Sidecars, Roy Houston has got mid-pack. Mike Keith all over him. Mike's looking up the inside at the Scotsman, and he's done him. He's absolutely done him. Mike Keith only gives him a little wave of sorry. So there you go. That's nice to see Donald McFadden all over the back of Roy Houston now. So he's going to have to try and get some sort of regular to try and get back up to where he started from, is Donald McFadden.
Yeah, Donald McFadden now straight past Roy Houston over the start finish as he chases down Mike Keith, and Mike Keith, I think he's almost given a high five as he was going past it. I think he was impressed with the pass.
Yeah, Roy Houston, it's taken him 5 races to get this thing dialed in. They've had shock changes and everything on the Kirkcaldy Kawasaki, as we see Scott Shandair up the inside. Good move from Scott Shandair, gets past Norman Brunton on that beautifully painted Alan Yamaha.
Yeah, Norman's been making good progress over the weekend. His lap time's getting faster and faster as he goes through, and we've got a bike blown up there. I think maybe it's over the start finish.
Look, that's Alan Howitson just going past shot there. See, that's because I noticed that from earlier on there. So Alan Howitson retires at the John Howe chicane. Scott Shand on the Jim Allen Honda up the inside of the Kirkcaldy Kawasaki. Good move.
Yeah, we can see the red flags out at one post there, so obviously maybe it hasn't translated. We can see it waving in the background there, Duncan. So obviously these guys doing their professional job want to make sure the circuit's safe before we get back under racing.
Yeah, that looked like a Ducati was blown up on the main straight. So here we have a restart. We turn around that pretty quickly. Restart, we're waiting on starters' orders. This will be a quick one, Dennis. Red lights are on. It's an empty front row now, and away we go. Tasker is gone, remember, so it's just Burney and McFadden on the front rows. We'll all head down towards Sidecars. Mike Keith still in there. Another cracking start for Houston.
Yeah, Roy Houston's starting to get the knack of the ZX10, so he's getting better and better all the time, and it's great to see him. And obviously, just watching back there, Derek Butcher again got a fantastic start in the Clubman with Jim Lang behind, so that's going to be an interesting battle between them two throughout this race.
The two Kawasaki's battling out here, 36 and 78. That's Houston and Keith, and Norman Brunton is in a grandstand position to pick up any pieces and down somebody else going.
That's Richard Hughes on the ZX.
Richard Hughes.
I was going to say ZX, but on the old Jigsaw file. So Richard hopefully obviously walked away there perfectly okay as we go back towards the front.
Oh, bits of bike everywhere. Dennis, that's it's your old machine, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, it's a bit battered and bruised.
So Richard Hughes on the ground at the hairpin, battered and bruised, but Mike Keith goes up the inside of Roy Houston at Clarks, but he ran too hot mid-corner. Houston's just going to drive past him on the way towards the hairpin, and just at the back of the shot you can see the Clubman battle coming into view. The Clubman battle are well and truly in view now, so this is going to be quite interesting, as up the inside goes Scott Shand.
Yeah, Scott Shand doing a good job in this one, and it's quite a tight battle for that last place in the podium, Duncan. This is a battle for third place between 4 guys, so it's Donald McFadden sitting in a nice comfortable second trying to chase down Bruce Burney, but these guys all battling for third place in that final podium position. It'll be the first podium for any of these guys over the course of the weekend.
The Clubman battle was led by Alan Bryce just now on 47, and Scott Shand has just come from the back of this pack and he's sighed his way through and got to the front now. Houston's going to be brave if he goes back past the Butchers, but the number 22 Jim Allen Honda is on a bit of a mission. But back at the front, Don McFadden on the number 55 BMW heading to the northwest, basically straight after this. Den, he'll be happy getting on the podium for that warhorse.
Yeah, Donald helped out by Capital Fire and Security Alarms, and I think they've held out for a long time, and he's looking nice and comfy on the BMW. He's had this bike for a couple of years now. He knows it inside out, and it's definitely looking nice and planted and suited. It's not moving around. And like I say, it looks really nice and comfortable on that bike.
He's not going to let the barber get too far ahead of him, but you're right, Donald's a very smooth, kind of economical rider, if I can say that. He doesn't really do too much in the bike, but he does it ever so well and ever so quickly, as Bernie has a quick check down at the dashboard there before coming through the hairpin. The Carnegie Fields BMW always turned out immaculately. A big look over his shoulder, and he's a happy chappy because it's a checker flag and it's a big wheelie. It's almost a little bit too big there from Bruce. He takes the victory from Donald McFadden, and we're going to see Bernie's teammate and team leader Mike Keith onto the podium in a fine third position. And here come the celebration wheelies. A big stand-up one for Donald there.
Bruce Burney, clean sweep.
Yeah, but I know I can do it, and we've just proved out and went out and done it. So yeah, big thanks to everyone. It was a pity they weren't in the race, you know, but it is what it is, as I always say. But big thanks to everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Runner-up in the Superbike, Donald McFadden. Great to see you up on the podium.
Yeah, it's quite nice, and I got third earlier, so second's even better.
We're still chasing that win though.
Yeah, you never know. I'm going off to Ireland soon, so I didn't want to be safe today.
Mike Keith, Bruce Burney was chuffed to win, but he was maybe even more chuffed to see you, his teammate, up there with him.
That's correct, yes. It's been a while now, so hopefully it can continue.
Absolutely. What made the difference?
Just the bike, getting used to the bike now, and a bit of suspension changes today, so it's come on a bit, so we're getting happier with it.
have time for from the Superbikes and the Sidecars, but do join us next time as there's plenty more action to come.